So, they told me to do this, and they wouldn't ever really say, well, Oscar Fields gave it to me or something like that. So I just know my little corner of the world. I saw it work, and I saw the people, and years and years they would come back, and they'd bring kids, grandkids, or somebody get burned, they'd come straight and find Daddy, or somebody else. I didn't know of other, I didn't meet other fire talkers like he was, but it was just a known fact in this small town. And Dr. Woodward was our neighbor, and he'd call and say, "Howard, I'm sending you somebody." And he was a doctor, and he would say, "When you get done, I'll put a lotion or something like that." And he, when the doctor does that, But it was very interesting, and I was enamored with my dad, and he was my hero. But somebody should write a book about him and his family.
I know some of the people I talked to that had gifts too, they were very, very secretive.
Oh, yeah.
And I had several people turn me down to talk to me. They say they were not even allowed to discuss it.
Well, and my dad was, he forewarned, because I had a brother committed suicide in '61, and from that point on, any family stuff or son and father, Daddy would dump it in my lap. And he had told me several times, now if something happens, if I'm in the midst of a heart attack, you find somebody, because this gift doesn't need to die here. And he's right, because you never know when you might save. Well, he saved that little girl's life. I ain't no doubt in my mind. I mean, but it's just one of those things in the mountains,
Well, I know a lot of people where I'm from and where I first found out about this, there wasn't any kind of rule like you can't pass it to a relative or it had to be a girl or a boy. They would say that they would use the word a feeling. They would just say, I'll pass it to the person I feel like when I have the feeling, and when I have the feeling. Like it wasn't any kind of, so I wonder why.
I think when my dad acquired it, from the best I could read between the lines, because he wouldn't even talk to me about it, is that he was given this set of circumstances that he received it, and he was very methodical about, here's what we're going to do. Now that he might could have just walked up to a stranger and said, here's the deal. I always felt like, because he was extremely religious, my dad was, he was one of the original deacons that was at Friendship Church, and it used to be over here where the tennis courts are at college, and they moved it to where it is now on the bypass. But he just, because I'd get real close, I was a nosy little shit, so, and but he would always, and I could never understand it. Of course, it's good that I didn't. It may have killed the ability for him to do it. I don't know.
Because they would oftentimes talk about taking people, when somebody would come to, one of the men I talked to, come to his house, they would be taken into a back room.
Yeah.
And
well, Daddy wouldn't do it. Daddy wouldn't do it in front of anybody.
Yeah.
The reason the little Cantrell man come in, I mean, he was just a mess. I thought it was like something out of a monster movie. Black eyes and bloodshot, and he was. What got me is the skin. Just when you have so much pain, and Daddy, he just set him down at the table, and Mother said, "Come here." So we saw him start, and she just closed the kitchen and the hallway door, and we went in there watching TV or something. But I mean, he left a different man. I know he wasn't, and of course he went to a regular optometrist the next day, I guess. But it's hard to refute it when you've seen it a bunch,
How long do you think this has been going on? I mean, you said you thought you got it from the Cherokee ancestry.
I think it come out of that breed of people, because it didn't just start up with this group of white male people around here. I think that they had an idea of how to do it, and because see, my great grandmother was a half Cherokee Indian. I told you about her name was Mary Jane, but we found out after she passed, her name was Marjan, and I mean, she was just something. My dad had a new truck, and we were driving over there and beating us to death. He was complaining about the truck riding so rough. He got over and he said, Mary Jane said, oh, this road is rough over here. Should I get down back? She said, yeah. She said, I had a problem. The other day, I had to quit plowing. She'd cut her big toe off. She took black thread and sewed her toe back on. And the day she died, it still had a black ring around it. She said, I thought I was going to have to lay off not doing any crops this year. But said, after a week or two, it scalped over. And said, I know what you're talking about, your back. And Daddy just didn't say anything else. She cut her toe off with the plow, sewed it back on herself. He didn't bitch about no backache going home.
Do you think it is a dying art?
I do, because so many of the young people, now when you meet Janice, you're going to say, she's born 200 years too late, because she has just a way with her about older people and sympathetic to different people. So I think the gift fell to her because she could, she knows how to use it, when to use it, and all that. But I think it is a dying thing because I would think that when someone receives the gift, I would think they would have to be in a believing mode, or they'll just let it go. That's my personal opinion now.
I know my nanny mentioned to me that a lot of people now, they were kind of almost
apprehensive about it.
Just because she mentioned that there had become a connotation of, instead of a gift from God, now it was more of, like she said, devil's work. That like people perceive it that way.
Yeah.
Have you experienced that or heard?
Not really, because the people that would come to my dad were in such a disarray. A child would be burned arm, leg, or something, face, and I mean, when they left, they definitely believed, like I was telling you. I mean, and I don't care if anybody believes it or not, because I know what it happened to me and my dad, and I saw it. So it's when they named it the gift. I mean, that was a good name for it.
Have you ever heard the term conjuring used?
Yes. A lot of people, my experience on conjuring is that deals with mixing up of medicine and poultices, and one of the things, I don't know if you ever heard of an acidity bag. When we was kids, they'd pick up, and it stunk so bad. What it was, they'd tie it around your neck, go to school, didn't want you to catch flu or anything, and it stunk so bad nobody hang around you. I don't think it had any medicinal purpose. It just stunk to high heaven. But and I have heard of people that would say, that's deja vu. I mean, I knew that was going to happen, or this and that. And I've seen people do that and speak about that. So I think all that goes in a big melting pot with folklore of the mountains and stuff that you can really verify, and stuff that remains hidden, But my grandmother was real good with boiling black root, yellow root, stuff like that, and she always said it's amazing how God works. Over here is poison ivy, but over here is aloe plant. This cures this. God don't put something that you can't figure out. And she was a real believer in that stuff.